Welcome to Loup TV. I'm your host, Gene Munster, along with Loup's very own Andrew Murphy. Our topic is part two on a journey we're on, rethinking e-commerce. In part one, we sunsetted the phrase e-commerce. We're going to do our best not to use that because we think it has served its course. In part two, we're looking deeper at the two cornerstones of the future of commerce, either convenience or experiential retail. And to dive into that, I'm going to bring in Andrew here. Actually, before I bring in you, Andrew, I'm just going to give a quick context, a quick history lesson around retail, because I think it's an important starting point. Is that retail in the US, the first kind of variations of it, aside from the small corner store, the more of a national retailing presence, started in the 1930s with Kirby vacuums. This is the door-to-door vacuum sales cleaner, and ultimately those escalated into Mary Kay Cosmetics and Tupperware, and you pick the door-to-door opportunity. And then in the 1950s, we had the shopping malls, which was driven by the technology of the car and suburbanization. And it was a great way for brands and retailers to bring people in and capture customers. In the 1980s, shifted to big box, and in 2000s, of course, the internet, and here we are talking about e-commerce again. But that e-commerce, as it happened with the internet, really powered the convenience factor. And I love, Andrew, for you to come in and talk a little bit about that, the importance of getting convenience, the convenience part of retail right.
Yeah, I think through each of those eras of retail, there have been two strategies that work really well. Either convenience-driven retail, where speed and selection, self-service is the modus operandi, or experiential retail, where high-touch, personalized, curated experience is the strategy and what is used to create a premium experience from premium brands. So in the internet era, convenience has reigned. I think Amazon has crushed the satisfaction, the selection, the speed. Those elements have come into our home through Amazon, or at least come to the home, delivered to your door, because Amazon has brought the everything store to your front door. But in the internet era of e-commerce and commerce at home, the premium experiential side of retail has been lacking.
So let's focus a little bit more on the convenience side. You talked about convenience, you talked about bringing it to your home. What other aspects have enabled, what is it about the Amazon experience, the other retailers who have been successful at this convenience part? Is it predominantly cost? Is it just removing the friction? And you really never talk to an actual human in this. I can't remember last time I talked to an Amazon person. What are some of the kind of the core elements of the success at the convenience side?
Well, I think if you look at the great convenience retailers over time, like Walmart, Target, Amazon, you see some common denominators emerge, like speed, selection, also the ability to serve yourself, essentially removing the human from the equation. And like you said, removing friction to increase that speed where you can get what you need when you need it and be done with your shopping trip.
Makes sense. And when we think about that and the convenience success, it is the experiential that is an opportunity, but really hasn't hit its full stride, not even come close. And we'd put this in the context of about every 25 years, there's a fundamental shift in retailing. We think we're at the front end of that, and that really is bringing commerce through the door and into the home. And we're seeing some glimpses of that. If I can talk a little bit more about the experiential side. Some of the success stories, of course, would be Peloton. Oftentimes they're set up by a Peloton delivery person. Those tend to be great experiences. Sometimes they're set up by a third party, and they tend to be good experiences. And but just be able to help people understand the bike, some of the accessories, getting into turning your home into a workout facility is something that Peloton has done exceptionally well. You can even think about Airbnb and how they've turned your home into a hotel. Tesla configuring the car is quite remarkable what they've done in auto. But a piece that many maybe might not appreciate is the servicing of Tesla. About 80% of the time is done at the home. So I see an opportunity to really play in this whole experiential. And we would view this experiential as premier brands. This is a premier price. And ultimately, those types of experiences, shopping experiences, are very different than what you talked about, Andrew, with the convenience side. These tend to have humans as part of it. I think about an Apple store, the kind of anatomy of an Apple store, and think of how humans have been a part of that. You're greeted when you walk in the door, and then you can get some help with a new product or help with support through the Genius Bar. That's an example of a premium brand, which I wanted to pause on that Apple piece too, because how do you grade Apple's success, I guess, over the last 15 years in both kind of retail and then the experiential retail at in-store and then the experiential retail at home?
Well, you mentioned Peloton. I think Apple is another, maybe even better example of an excellent experiential retailer with the Apple Store, the Genius Bar, and many of the innovations that they've brought to retail have, I think, led the way in experiential retail. That has been challenged and stressed, though, by two things. One is the pandemic, and two, related, is more people doing commerce at home. And it's harder for them to deliver that kind of premium experience at home, especially during the pandemic, where they just don't even want people in the stores. They want you to either select your item and come pick it up quickly, or order online and have it delivered to your home. So there's a huge opportunity for them to deliver that same kind of experience into the home. And we are investors, of course, in Enjoy, which is working with Apple to do just that.
Okay. Well, I want to highlight the piece on some of the premier experience at Apple. I think one simple example is just when you purchase something, they will come, they'll help you set up, kind of port your info from iCloud over to your new device, and just little things like that, I think, are helpful. But as you said, as they haven't really done that in the home yet, and Enjoy is an opportunity where they are pursuing that. I think they're in 3 cities today. Working with Apple and to do that, bring that Apple experiential part of Apple into your home. What are my question on the experiential piece? Who are the retailers that benefit the most from this? Is it just simply premier brands? Is it companies like Apple and Peloton and Tesla, or could this also extend to other, I guess, non-tech companies like premium brands? I don't know,
Yeah,
Gucci
another
and Louis
example.
Vuitton.
Another example, like you mentioned, is Louis Vuitton, that has a mobile store where they curate items known by the company to be of interest to a particular shopper, right? A consultant picks out your clothes, your size, your preferences, and the store comes to your driveway. They set up couches, chairs, flowers, champagne, and create this entire commerce at home experience, which is ultra premium, with a store just for you. So it's clear that retailers get the fact that commerce at home is a huge opportunity, that they can bring the experience of a store to the home now, but we're at the very early days of this.
I just had a flashback to a few months ago. Saw a neighbor sitting on a chair outside, and they had a hair cutting person come over and was cutting their hair. Good example of bringing the store to your home. And when we're doing those kind of things, it's a sign that this is really happening. I mean, of course, there's a pandemic piece to that, but I see some sustainability behind that. I want to kind of leave with that thought, is that these trends, these every 25-year trends start out slow. And we've only given a handful of examples today, but ultimately can become profound. And I think the willingness for people to bring credible people into your home is there for, if you think about maintaining things in your home or your apartment. But a trusted brand, I think, is even more likely that people are going to open up their home. Creates a big opportunity for these experiential retailers to offload some of the costs of a traditional brick and mortar store onto a home. We're going to talk more about that in the future, but I wanted to give you, Andrew, a chance to wrap us up here. And what do you think is the most important takeaway with when we think about the convenience or the experiential retail?
Well, I think that word "or" may be the most important word as we consider convenience or experiential retail, because both can work. Both strategies have proven that they can be very successful with Amazon and the convenience side, with a company like Apple on the experiential side. But if you're in the middle, you're in trouble, would be one takeaway. And two, you need to embrace who you are as a company and the DNA of your product, your service, your customers, and your business model, right? Are you a high volume, low margin, budget friendly option? Then go convenience. Are you a low volume, high margin, high touch premium brand? Then go experiential.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking back to this week's Apple Spring Loaded event. They announced a new iPad Pro and new iMac. Both of them, they essentially increased the price by, call it 10%. I think a sign that they know who they are. Most definitely Amazon and Jeff Bezos know who they are. Loup, we know who we are too. We want to invest in transformative tech, long-term investors. And on that note, we're going to continue the series, so there is more to come. On behalf of Andrew, myself, and Loup TV, bye for now.